Hey everybody, welcome back and happy Wednesday. You know what that means. It is time for Spirit Wisdom Wednesday, where we gather here together in the healing space and allow some beautiful spirit wisdom to flow through. If you are new to me, let me introduce myself and welcome you here. My name is Meredith, and this is my heart-centered business called the Healing Hummingbird. And what I love to do here is help healers, givers, and spiritual go-getters reclaim their life, receive healing, and walk down the path towards their purpose in the way of the hummingbird, which involves lots of lightness of being, joy, and a big, brave heart. So thank you so much for joining us here. And if you're here live, do leave me a comment so I can say hello and share the beautiful energy with you. And feel free to leave a like or love on this video to let Spirit know that their messages are coming through loud and clear. So, what they wanted to talk about today is connectedness, which is a really exciting topic and a really philosophical topic, so buckle up. I did want to start by referencing a video that we've done before. I believe it was episode 4, according to my notes, about synchronicities, and there's a connection there, but connectedness is a bit different in the way that Spirit wants to talk about it today. So, what is it? What does connectedness really mean? And the way they described it is you start seeing, it's almost like pieces of a spider's web. That's how thin the threads are, but everything is connected is what they're saying. So it's like you start seeing the through line between seemingly unrelated things. And it's like a mind-blowing moment because it's things that don't casually seem to be on the same plane, but they are. And I'll give you an example of this. So we referenced the synchronicity, and it is like synchronicity, but it's like a step deeper. So an example of a synchronicity would be seeing repeating numbers, but it's not the same number, it's just repeating sequences. Or like spirit echoes, like we talked about in episode 4. So you might say the word turkey and then hear the word turkey on TV, like immediately, like boop, boop. I like to call that a spirit echo. So that's an example of a synchronicity, and connectedness goes a little something like this. So they want me to go ahead with my example for the week. So morning glories have always been one of my very, very favorite flowers. I didn't know anybody growing up who grew them, but I just always was so drawn to them. They have a magical feeling for me. And if you are familiar with me on social media, you'll know that I have morning glories and they just started blooming. And I go out there just about every morning and post pictures of it to my story because I'm so excited that they're actually blooming. And now, I believe this was Saturday, I opened my blinds because I can see them from my window here. And there was a hummingbird right there hovering, looking at me through the window. It was crazy. So it turns out that the morning glory is one of the hummingbird's favorite flowers, and I did not know that. So I am now realizing that one of my lifelong favorite plants, planting that and growing it, has something to do with my business as well, which is called the Healing Hummingbird. So that's kind of I would consider that connectedness, and that's the way that Spirit's phrasing it. It's, as you can see from that example, it's more than just a synchronicity. So if you start to see these and experience connectedness, what does that mean? Spirit is letting you know that you are in the flow of the universe and to keep doing what you're doing, which is always a super reassuring, wonderful message to get. And also witnessing connectedness, they're showing it like a sneak peek behind the veil, like you kind of get to see. And it's not always of the utmost importance to unpack and understand every single symbol, but simply to recognize that things are connected and to acknowledge it so that Spirit knows that you are seeing it, you're getting it, and you're perceiving it. Let's see. And then also, so this is where it gets really exciting. So if you're seeing it, Spirit is saying you are part of it. You are part of the web of connectedness, and you are serving the higher good. So congratulations if you're seeing it. And yeah, the way they phrased it earlier when I was taking notes was, congrats, friend, you are part of the solution. So if this is you and this is really resonating for you, they did want to footnote something crucial. So that means the nudges you get from spirit to reach out to people are important with a capital I. And if this is you, heed those calls is what they're saying, because they're showing you you're part of this, you're part of the solution. And now they want to start working with you. They want to start working through you. And that's the last thing they wanted to say, is that if you are experiencing nudges to reach out and connect to others, Spirit is simply wanting to work through you and work with you for the higher good. So if you are experiencing those, of course, it's really important to acknowledge that and say, hey, I am getting this feeling. Thank you for sending it to me, and I'm happy to help. What would you like me to do? So connectedness is really exciting, and I almost want to say it's fleeting, because it's like a really expanded perspective. So, I mean, if you're like, running about, running errands, or just going to work every day, it's hard to maintain that really expansive perspective. But in those moments where you go, oh my gosh, if this hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened. And you start to see it's just really magical moments. So let me take a moment to say hello to everybody. Hi, Connie, Janice, Lola, Dawn. So great to see you, ladies. Thank you for joining us live. Okay, let me get our decks of cards ready to go for our week ahead messages. All right, so as usual, I will invite you to take a deep breath in with me, to invite your spirit guides around you and get ready for the week ahead message. So just a deep inhale in and an exhale out. And just invite your spirit guides to tell you which group holds your message for the week ahead. You may see, hear, feel, or know that it's 1, 2, or 3. Or you may be activated by one of the objects that I'm going to show you. So let me make sure I have them all here. Spirit wanted to use candles this week. So group number 1 will have this fancy blue candle. Group number 2, the lavender vanilla candle. And okay, yeah, Spirit's saying this one, the one that's literally lit right now, is group number 3. So those are your 3 options. And let's get started with group number 1. So if you picked the first blue candle here, what is your message for the week ahead? Let me give these a little shuffle. And this week we are going to use the Kitty Tarot, one of my favorites, really playful imagery. So for the week ahead for group number 1, Spirit, what do they need to know for their highest good? For group number 1, I feel like I need to slow down. So maybe you've been going, or there's been a period of acceleration in your life. But it feels like it's time to just take a deep breath for group number 1. Let's see. Okay. All right, so first out we have Judgment. And then we have the 4 of Bowls. And the 3 of Bowls, or Cups. And if you come to these meetings, you know I talked about this last week. We always have a 3 of Cups every single time. Okay. That's funny that keeps happening. So maybe for group number 1, that there's something that just either a situation that just keeps going on and on and on, and it feels like the same problem that I just can't seem to solve. or it's like the same thing keeps happening over and over again. And since it's cups, and that would be emotional energy, it feels like something in relationships. So it could be like the same exchange with someone over and over and over again, and you're just not sure how to change it. Or if it is friendships and partners, it could be I'm attracting the same partner and the same karmic connection seems to be coming up, like attracting the same type. So that's something that's coming out right off the bat for group number 1. What they're highlighting for the week is the 4 of Cups, which is, it's sort of like being bored with the present moment. It's like things just feel mundane. It feels like, again, something is just kind of dragging on, and it feels like you're just kind of over it. But the thing is, with the 4 of Cups, there's always this outstretched hand, and they're offering a new cup, which is interesting. In the typical illustration, the person is not looking. They're too preoccupied with being bored under a tree to even notice that there's another cup. But you, on this card, the kitty actually sees it. So it feels like there's a kind of a step in the right direction, kind of like bringing awareness that something needs to change, or that you have another option. And speaking of heed the call, you got the heed the call card for this week. And this is a major arcana. So it seems like spirit, and see, there's another outstretched, I know these are kitties, but it's still, the message still holds. There's another outstretched paw, if you will. So it feels like spirit is offering you something this week, and you're realizing it. You're realizing that there's another offer on the table that perhaps was not there before. So before we move into guidance about that, let me touch on the 3 of Cups as well. All right, Spirit, how do these work together? So they're saying, don't be afraid to let things get a little messy before you clean them up. So maybe something is coming to an end and it's getting kind of messy right now, maybe even emotionally. But Spirit's saying that's okay. Sometimes that just happens. That's, human nature of having an emotional body. Just make sure that you're taking care of your emotional body, that you're drinking plenty of water, and allowing that to flush out. For someone here, there could be something going on with plumbing issues, or water in your house. So Spirit wanted to acknowledge that as well. And if that is you, if there is some kind of imbalance or some kind of plumbing work that needs to be done, Spirit's saying that could actually unconsciously affect your emotional body. So if that is going on, you want to make sure to take care of that as soon as you can. What an interesting message. Okay. For guidance this week, we're going to be pulling from the Animal Spirit deck. So let's see, for group number 1, what advice do we have for them of how they can recognize that offer from Spirit? What do they need to know for the highest good for their week ahead? I'm hearing energy check-in. So that could be someone checking in on you, or you're feeling the need to check on something else. You could be waiting for a reply from somebody. The situation that's dragging on, you could be waiting on someone else to make a decision, and you might find yourself like checking on them in a different way, kind of energetically. Energetic checkup is what they're saying. Okay, so first out we have the bear. And then we have the hawk. And the hawk for me, this has nothing to do with this deck. This is a personal message for me. This means spirit messages. So your spirit team is really trying to talk to you, group number 1. So make sure that you are making time to just listen to them, because they're sending you signs and symbols but they're saying we really want to like talk, girl. So that's why that card is here. And now for the bear, they're bringing up family, and they're bringing up a motherly energy. So that could be a maternal instinct of your own, or it could have to do with mother energy in the family. And they're saying generations, plural. So this could be grandmother as well. And it feels warm and fuzzy. So it feels like there's help to be had, familial help. And for some of you, it feels like this person has crossed over into spirit and that they are wanting to offer you help with this transition, with this conclusion and new beginning, which is so beautiful and moving. And this person is saying that you may dream of them. And if you do, just know that that is actually a visitation. And this would be something that you would wake up and remember. But again, this feels like a motherly energy. For some people watching, it's a mother that's passed over into spirit. And for some people, it's a mother that's still on the earthly plane. But in both cases, both want to help you. So that's one of these offerings. One of them, they're not... Okay, so there's two offerings. You've got a lot of spirit helpers. They're all like talking at the same time. So remember how we talked about the two outstretched hands in your cards? So Spirit's going to offer another way that you did not see before. And this other offering is actually through the motherly energy. And they're going to step forward either in spirit or through their higher self or physically. And just know that that is so genuine and that is so real. And that is Spirit helping you out with the week ahead. So those were your messages for those of you who picked the first blue candle with group number 1. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next time. Okay, and so for those of you who picked group number 2 with the lavender vanilla candle, let's see what your week ahead message is. We'll give these a little bit of a shuffle. And let's see, for group number 2, I feel like my face is flushing. So there might be some kind of feelings of embarrassment that you're dealing with. Let's see what they have to say about that. Or you could just be feeling shy around someone. Okay, let's see what they have to say for group number 2 for the week ahead. All right. So we have the 7 of Wands, excuse me, with the kitty toys there. We have Temperance. Oh, this one doesn't come out very much in this deck. And Death. Yep, that's a vacuum cleaner. Okay, let's see. So for group number 2, what do we need to know about the week ahead? I really feel this sort of like flustered energy around group number 2. So this could either be you or someone around you feeling this way. It's like, I'm like, my face feels hot. I'm like tripping over my words. I just feel like nervous. So there might be someone with their eye on you, group number 2. And that has nothing to do with these cards. That's something that's just kind of coming through. So, okay. With group number 2, they're focusing on the crown chakra. And they're showing that lit up behind you, almost like a halo. So it feels like your spirit guides and ancestors will be offering you healing and some kind of upgrade to the crown chakra for group number 2. And if you're open to that, all you have to do is affirm that you accept and welcome any healing that your ancestors and guides might be able to offer to you. For some of you, I feel like that's something that you've been actively working on, is like a connection to source, a connection to the divine. So not necessarily, oh, let me gather and interpret messages, but it's like just channeling this pure kind of healing energy. It also feels like group number 2 does have some kind of healing modality that you might be naturally good at. So if that's not something that you've tapped into quite yet, they're saying it's something that's coming down the line. So that might be something that you notice in the week ahead. Maybe a class comes up, or you notice like the name of a teacher online that really resonates with you. So that's coming up as well. And with death, it's funny this is coming out. I was just thinking on my way home from work that this card should really be named Rebirth, I think, because just the word in the English language, death, sounds so harsh and almost kind of like concerning. But there's definitely no need to be concerned. In fact, they're encouraging you to have a good sense of humor about it. So it simply means that a chapter of your life is coming to an end and something new is going to be growing out of that. And they're showing it like vegetation. So you might be into gardening or just enjoy nature and plants in general. But it's like as one plant kind of breaks down, when its season is over, when the growing season's over, it yellows, it browns, and then it kind of breaks down into the ground. But then it fertilizes the soil for new seeds to come up. So what a beautiful visual that they're providing for that. And let's see, with the 7 of Wands, I don't typically do this, but they're saying there's something for you in the book. So let's see. You might be a reader or a writer. Since they're having me reference the book, they're like, no, we need to really get this right. Okay. They're saying, all right, let's see what sentences and words are truly important here, Spirit. Okay. They're saying you're no stranger to tenacity and perseverance at all costs. Some may even call it stubbornness. Okay. You have the upper hand. Rest assured you are in full control. But at the same time, there's this need to kind of like let things go and let things kind of tip over the edge. And it feels like this ending that's coming up, it feels like you are aware of this, group number 2. It's almost like you're watching it happening and you're realizing, kind of like what we were talking about before with connectedness, sometimes your perspective just kind of pops back and you're like, oh, I understand what's happening on a bigger scale. So I feel like that's happening with you with an ending in your life. So let's see what kind of guidance that Spirit would like to offer for this week ahead. And this is pretty big energy, I have to say, because 2 of your 3 cards are major arcana. So that's pretty significant. And anytime the death card comes out, that's some real transformative energy. Okay. So for group number 2, what else do they need to know about their week ahead? I just heard the phrase lost in the shuffle. So if you're moving, they want to remind you to label boxes. That's super specific, but sometimes they do that. Okay, so we have the horse and the buffalo. That's beautiful energy. So let's see. So they're asking you to have the buffalo's perspective going into the week ahead. And the buffalo personality is someone who's very spiritual. And look at all of this purple. So we were just talking about the crown before, remember? So I feel like you are, group number 2, a really spiritual person in nature. And they're asking you to kind of lean on that in the next week and to remember to have that perspective. That instead of looking at something as a challenge, just as a new step, a new exciting step in your life to do something different, which is how the buffalo deals with life's perceived problems or events. And this is you, group number 2, and I'm getting this kind of tingling feeling back here. So you might really be getting that crown upgrade. It might even be happening right now if you're watching live. But this has to do with your freedom. This has to do with your personal freedom, and it feels tied to home. So I really strongly feel that there are some people who picked this group who are moving house or who are relocating, but in a way that feels very expansive and light and free. It feels like there's some boundaries that are breaking down, and you're just like, yes, here we go. Okay, so that sounds like a pretty big week ahead, group number 2. Thank you for stopping by. That was your message if you picked the lavender vanilla candle, and I will see you next time. All right, so for group number 3, if you picked the candle that's literally on fire right now, this is your week ahead message. Oh my gosh. You know, sometimes I will have objects kind of like sitting around, thinking, oh, these would be appropriate for this week. And at the last second, Spirit will go, no, 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 not this one, this one. And I'm like, the one that's on fire right now, they're like, yep, hold it up. So for group number 3, it feels like there's something heating up this week. It feels like there is this kind of exciting, daring energy, fiery energy, and it feels like someone is apparently going to be trying to talk to you. So you could be kind of on fire in that way. So let's see. Oh, you got the Wheel of Fortune. There we go. Great start. Ace of Cups. Okay, Ace of Wands. Oh my gosh, you have 2 aces. Okay, so just so you can see the artwork. Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands. Wow, okay. Let's see. So this is an amazing week for you in group number 3. Congratulations if you picked this group, because the Wheel of Fortune is now turning in your favor. There's some kind of karma that you have done your part in to resolve, and now it's kind of like the other shoe is dropping, but in the best way, if that makes sense. Like maybe you had a talk with someone or you completed something, and now it's like, okay, here's your reward. Now things are going to start moving in a great direction for you. So that is so exciting. Now you have 2 aces, so this is a lot. This is a big change. They're talking about an emotional change and then also a passionate change. So this could be romantic, but it really feels internal. It really feels like there used to be some situation in your life that was kind of snuffing out your inner flame. It could have been a person that was talking to you a certain way. Maybe you had a talk with them and let them know like, hey, we need to change this because it's upsetting. But it just feels like you're lighting up again, like you're happy and you're really figuring out what you're passionate about and taking real steps to move forward, which is so exciting. And it's ultimately going to be so fulfilling for you emotionally. So let's see what else they have to say about this big, bright, beautiful change for group number 3. Let's see. There's also something about the early morning for group number 3. They're talking about doing meditations right when you wake up. And if you're familiar with meditation or interested in it, there's some kind of like brain science stuff that's happening when you first wake up. And that's like the best time to listen to your affirmations and to do your meditations. So, yeah, Spirit's talking about that for group number 3 being really helpful for the week ahead. So you have tiger, okay, you might be a fire sign, and you have the swan. Wow. So let's see. The tiger and the swan. It feels like there is, oh, it just feels so good to be you this week, group number 3. It feels like this really satisfying balance of yin and yang energy within yourself, of the feminine and the masculine energy within yourself. There's this like playfulness that I feel like you're acknowledging and maybe exploring in some cases. Kind of this fiery energy, but also this grace within yourself that's coming out as well. So it's this beautiful this beautiful combination of fire and water, and it's really powerful and palpable. People around you are going to feel this and be like, what is going on with you? And like everything, honestly, like there is a lot. I mean, look at these cards together. What a beautiful contrast. And again, this could be in a relationship, but I truly feel like these aspects are being reflected back to you because that's what's within yourself. And wow. Okay, there's something about, oh, I was going to say there's something up there pointing to these to the tiger's eyes. It's tiger's eye, the crystal. If you have tiger's eye, they're talking about either wearing it, maybe you have a piece of jewelry over the next week, or carrying it in your pocket. So if you're not familiar with that, they're saying it might be helpful for you to look up the metaphysical properties of tiger's eye. And they're also talking about charging your water. So a way to do that, I have a water bottle here with me, is, you know, you put the water in the container. It's best to use glass if you can, just as far as like keeping a high vibe. And what you can do is put your palms around the glass like this, and just imagine a column of white light coming down through the top of your head, down into your heart, down across your shoulders, and into the hands, and right into this water. And they're saying for some reason 11 seconds of the light actually being in the water is enough to charge it. So that's something that you could do overnight and then set it down for you to drink in the morning. But for some reason, charging the water could be really helpful for you this week, group number 3. So what a beautiful week. Lots of fire, lots of water, new starts. And don't forget, this is a welcome sight. The Wheel of Fortune is a very auspicious card. All right. And also, you might be a Sagittarius. I don't know if I mentioned that, but you might be. Or have it in your big 3, sun, moon, or rising. So those were your messages, group number 3, for you who literally picked the candle on fire right now. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you next time. All right. Wow, I see some beautiful comments. Thank you all for joining. Okay, and as always, if you do want to share any feedback about your week ahead messages, I love to see that. That's so fun. And if you have any questions about connectedness, do let me know. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care and have an awesome week. Bye.